The sun is shining, it's very, very warm indeed, so what better weather to report on another show. I'm here at Oak Park in County Carlow for the Carlow Classic and Vintage show. This should be really rather good. Let's get stuck in. Oh, it's a strong start with this Mark 1 Fiesta. I do apologise for the rather dreadful country music. Some of you may like it, it's not my cup of tea. But this Fiesta certainly is. It's the L, so I think that's fairly low down the old range. And as we love it here on Crap Car Collective, original dealer sticker. James Hayes of County Tipperary, look at that. Slightly better view of the interior perhaps. No, not really. An original Irish car as far as I can tell. So that's really, really nice. I tell you what, I must own one of these. Got an analogue clock down there. Oh yes, we love an analogue clock. Look at that. That is fantastic. Yeah. No, I love that. Love about old cars like this Suzuki Alto is the fact that, perhaps understandably, they're completely overlooked, aren't they? This would have been an extremely cheap car back in the day. And as a result, of course, they were used as throwaway machinery. But it always fills me with delight to see that a few of them have survived. I'd be surprised if this is the only one here. I'll track down any others if there are any. But yeah, I just love the way that something is unfavoured and unspectacular as this has made it this far. What's that, 32 years? Yeah, it's pretty special, that. I suppose it's kind of the old version of maybe a Toyota Yaris or an Aygo or maybe a Ford KA or something today. Disposable motoring, but yeah, I really love this thing. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That's an FSO Polonez. Goodness me. I mean, this is something of crap car nirvana that we're looking at here. This is utter peak choddery. Yeah, I mean, we obviously have to get rid of the roof rack and the silly wheels and all those ridiculous stickers, but yeah, to actually see a Polonez in the flesh is something of a watershed moment for me. God. These are widely acclaimed to be utterly dreadful, so of course, naturally, I really, really want one. Next to it is an FSO 125. So pretty much a Fiat 127, I think I'm right in saying, or 126. I'm sure I'll be corrected on that one. But again, this is communist motoring at its very finest. And I suppose in this day and age, the less we say about Russian stuff, the better. But yeah, I give them a little bit of credit for these two because they are so incredibly terrible. Next up, as I peruse the very average and mediocre motors at this event, is this, oh, fantastic Seat Ibiza. Plenty of black plastic trim on it, indicating that it's probably fairly low down the model range. Yeah, a lot to like there. The CLX model, no idea what that means. But due to the amount of plastic on the body, I'd imagine it's pretty low down the old range. But it's fantastic. Look at that. A lot to like there with that upholstery pattern. What a brilliant, undervalued, unloved old car. Fantastic stuff. You see, these are the real cars of this event. None of that fancy Capri and big executive Mercedes or Ferraris or Bentleys, Rolls-Royce nonsense. This is what you want. Proper bread and butter stuff like this. Oh, fantastic. This fantastic old Datsun 120Y is pretty special. And thankfully the owners left the window open slightly so I can see the interior properly. Fantastic old rear quarter light, that's great, isn't it? I love the design of these things, they're fantastic. Of course, this is the car that helped to really perk the attention of the British public and draw them to the fact that they didn't have to buy an Allegro, a Marina, an Austin 1100, an Austin 1300, a Land Crab, etc, etc. And you could buy one of these, you know? Trusty Japanese technology. Of course, it was all alien and new to the British public back in the day, but this car was utterly transformative in changing attitudes. As the streets of industrial Britain on their 3-day weeks in the 70s attempted to flick their ignitions and the engines on in the morning and were greeted by a chorus of these things sparked into life and propelled people to work. Yeah, wonderful old machines these, and very important too. Here's something that really brings me back to my childhood. This is strictly speaking an Opel Vectra, as they were known across Europe, but of course in Britain where I grew up, these were the Vauxhall Cavalier, and this is a particularly early Mark III example as well. Oh, these are on the bucket list, definitely. Yeah, I love these, and they look absolutely fantastic as well. Look at that swooping rear quarter. Fantastic, that, isn't it? These turbine trims are fantastic. Oh, old geezer driving an old Maxi with a pipe. Oh yeah, that's what you want to see. Nature is healing. That's a very scabby Maxi. He was going to do a video on that as well, but then he got in it and drove off, so he's escaped analysis. But one machine that won't escape analysis is this incredibly rare Daihatsu Charmant. God, look at this. There can't be too many of these left at all. I think I remember seeing, I don't know if it was this one because it was probably about 10 years ago. I remember seeing a Charmant at a show and there was a little infographic on it that described just how incredibly rare they are. There's only a handful of them left, if that. But yeah, that is very, very lovely, isn't it? That Maxi that I showed you before was going to win today's Ropey Car of the Day award, but I think I found another contender. And it's this Toyota Starlet. Looks okay, doesn't it, from that angle, but when you get close you realise that it's got a few cosmetic issues, including plenty of these little rust sparkles, shall we call it. We'll be kind and call them rust sparkles. Wait till you see the valance. That wheel arch is looking a little frilly. Yeah, plenty of rust, but you know, look, it's only surface rust, and I actually think a white car looks quite charismatic with a few little rust splodges on it. Interior actually really looks rather nice, doesn't it? And of course it's not a pensioner spec Starlet unless it's got characterful mats and a cushion on the driver's seat. Because, you know, people shrink when they get older, don't they? You know, gravity has a negative effect on them. Here's that valance that I was on about. Oh, that's a little bit more than just... I mean, it's still surface, but you'd want to get that looked at. Alarm's very annoying, isn't it? A few little wheel arch blemishes too. And yeah, it must be pretty poverty because we've got no passenger mirror. Top crap marks for that. And yeah, this boot lid's looking a little bit golden in places. But yeah, it's nice. It's characterful, isn't it? Plenty of character with that. This is a Vauxhall Carlton, and it's for sale too if you've got a spare €4,500. but it's lovely, isn't it? Look at that interior, isn't that fantastic? It's a UK import, given away, of course, by that Man Egerton St Ives Cambridge dealer sticker, which is a thing of beauty. Although it looks like an older sticker because, of course, that Vauxhall logo was introduced in the early 90s, wasn't it? So, late 80s, early 90s. That looks like an addition after this car was on the road for some time, I'd imagine. That's the English registration of the UK one, B661XCR. Fire that through the DVLA for more info. But yeah, love that. As we all know, sensible people and people with good taste drive Volvos, and I'm not being one bit biased in saying that. No, definitely not. This is a Volvo 440. It's actually one of my favourite Volvos, simply because it is extremely boxy. Boxy but good, as the famous old advertising slogan went.
Do you want to open it up?
You don't mind, do you? Oh, brilliant, thanks very much. Can have a look inside now.
Good. Not everybody's interested in these.
No, this is right up my street. You can keep your Ferraris and your rollers and your all that kind of stuff. This is right up mine. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
I've got a Volvo myself. It's a V40 2001 plate.
Oh, I know the one.
Yeah. I bought it about 6-7 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But no, I do. I love Volvos. Oh, that's brilliant.
It's really comfortable.
Isn't it? It really is, yeah.
I was really surprised.
No, I really like it. That's fantastic. What's the engine? This 1.6?
1.6.
1.6, okay.
1.7 turbo and all sorts, but I was trying to. Well, it was the one that was for sale, and I preferred the basic because it's less hassle. There's no power steering on it.
Oh, right, okay.
It's just less freaking hassle.
Yeah.
I had a Triumph Stag. Do you ever remember the Stag?
Oh, the Stag, yes, yeah.
Lovely car, but a nightmare to try and keep, you know.
Was it?
And I retired and I said, I'm not going to keep this because it's just a nightmare. But anyway, I traded in my Stag, which was fine, you know.
Yeah.
I was showing him the Stag and everything. I said, now, this is how you put the hood down. And when you start it, it's a bit annoying but once it settles down after about a minute, then you can, you know, it will be fine. He was kind of scratching his head looking at this, you know, as I was trading it, because he wasn't going to keep it, he was just going to sell it on.
Yeah.
And then he said, right, now the Volvo then. I hadn't even looked at it. And he said, look, when you go over to the Volvo, he said, what you do is, don't touch anything, just turn the key. That's all you do. And I can't get used to it, because usually the Stag I was saying, oh,
yeah, and you have to,
the starter was acting up and all sorts. This one, literally,
lovely.
Touch wood, it's just like clockwork.
I love the upholstery is fantastic. It's in such good condition. Now, of course, for anyone who watched my report from the Shamrock show last week, you'll know that I am deeply in love with old Nissan Bluebirds. And here's another one. Yeah, these are just quality, aren't they? Superlatives, well, you run out of them pretty quickly when you're looking at old Nissan Bluebirds, but of course that's probably just me and all the rest of you that appreciate pretty rubbish, average, mediocre, unappreciated old cars. That's actually our first Padre Pio sticker of the day. There aren't many grander ways of transporting yourself than one of these. Just look at the majesty of this thing. I actually dread to think what the fuel consumption is in one of these, but to be honest, that's not really the point of them, is it? Oh, look at that. That's something of a dream machine, that one. Absolutely brilliant. And in very, very, very good condition too. For any political or history buffs or nerds out there, you may recognise this. Of course, it was the car that's not this actual car, but this model was the one that Thatcher was transported out of Downing Street in November 1990 when she resigned, with floods of tears in the back. Now, here's an old Peugeot that, for whatever reason, hasn't really attracted huge classic status. Yeah, the 205 obviously has done, the 305 up to a point, the 405 as well, I suppose, and any of the bigger ones, the 505, the 605, etc. But this is the little 309. Oh, and it's got a little... Alright, mate. It just hasn't really garnered classic status as of yet, sadly. So a little bit earlier on, I showed you a white Toyota Starlet that was pretty ropey. I think I actually might have found something which will usurp that. This is even ropier. I don't think it's supposed to be on show, but it's definitely a modern classic of sorts. Have a look at this. Behold this B5 Passat. This is in proper farmer spec. It's absolutely hanging. There's about 3 inches worth of dust on the dashboard. There's all matter of rubbish on the parcel shelf at the rear. It's had a replacement door handle. It's missing trims. There isn't one panel that actually fits properly. It's got a cracked rear lens. It's absolutely knackered, but I love it. I love it. Have one of the most derided cars in world history. I haven't owned one yet, but I certainly will one day. Yeah, it's an Austin Allegro. It's in a wonderful kind of gold, bronzy, sandy hue. It's really, really nice, isn't it? Look at that. Look at that interior. Whoa, orange seats. Cool. I wish I could get in and have a little look, but I have no idea who owns it. I'm not going to start asking, so... The panel gaps on these always make me laugh. Look at that, you can fit your index finger in there, look. Very, very original as well. Original hubcaps, badges. Yeah, one of the cars, sadly, that most people believe led to the downfall of the British motor industry, and they're probably not wrong, to be honest. These weren't particularly good. I don't like to judge them, I've never driven one or owned one, but just, I mean, not everyone can be wrong, can they? Ah, it's a shame, really. I'm sure these could have been better if they weren't designed in the midst of such terrible economic times. I think I may have reached peak nostalgia. I had one of these as my first car back in 2015-16. Mine was a little bit nicer than this though. Mine was the gear model with air conditioning, little gear kick plates on the sills and the fake wooden dash. Ah, quite surprised to see this at a show, but I welcome it. It's fantastic. It was like driving a little go-kart. It was fantastic to take corners in 5th gear. It was brilliant racing the thing around. Not dangerously. But, I do miss it. It went through a clutch. It had to get about 500 quid's worth of welding done to get it through the NCT, and I think the gearbox gave up in the end. But, no, you can't really ever beat your first car. Yeah, these will always have a special place in my heart. One thing that I really love about old Triumph 2000s are their dashboards. They look absolutely wonderful there, don't they? With that beautiful curved wood trim and all those Smith's dials. Oh, utterly beautiful. The detail on these things is fantastic. These beautiful little quarter lights. And as well, as I said before, one thing you're not getting is smell-o-vision. I can smell it goes straight into my nostrils. It smells of oldness, which is lovely. Such a beautiful shape. It's kind of like a Dolomite on steroids. This cute little Renault 6 is one of my favourite cars of this show today. Ah, such a little sweetie. You can imagine this thing zipping around the towns and cities of France back in the 60s and 70s, can't you? Take my money. I love all of the old information that's here in the back on the parcel shelf. And put a tiger in your tank. Look at that for a sticker. Brilliant. People of weird car Twitter, I need your help. What is this? The badge says bitter, but I've never heard of it. What's this? What's it based on? I know nothing about these. This is like a first for me. This is number... What number's that? What are we with? 4260367, 426,037, I think. Yeah, I don't know what that is. That steering wheel and dashboard looks a little bit kind of Opel Vauxhall, doesn't it? From the mid-80s. Yeah, I don't know what one of those is. I'm being very honest here. I could always just try and blag my way through it. Oh yeah, no, it's a 3.9 engine, according to the badge. Now, what is it? Help me. Anyone fancy a BX? It's for sale if you do. Oh, look at that upholstery. I was going to say that about every car, but that's pretty fantastic, that, isn't it? And what more do you want from a day out than fantastic French cars? That is a thing of unadulterated beauty. Who doesn't love an Austin Maxi? These could have been absolute world beaters if, of course, they weren't produced by British Leyland during the 1970s. But, they're really, really nice, aren't they? Look at them. My grandfather had two of these long before my time. Wonderfully designed. And really, really good looking and really stand out nowadays, don't they? So that's it then for this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it as much as I've enjoyed making it. What better thing to do on such a beautiful day is look around a field full of some absolutely fantastic and some rather rubbish old cars. Yeah, I've just noticed that Rover 75 behind me. Look at that. Oh, I better get a picture of that. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And you can also help keep Crap Car Collective running by subscribing to Patreon, and you get a free Crap Car Collective window sticker as well, which I can show you here. There you go. Yeah, show you backwards, of course. Yeah. So from Carlow, it's goodbye.